Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, English Journey Conversation. I am very happy that you are here today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoy this channel, please like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to support the channel. Your support really means a lot to me. This channel is a place where you can improve your English while also learning useful things for your real life. We do not only study English words and sentences. We also talk about real situations that people face every day. My goal is to help you feel more confident in English and also help you grow as a person. Right now, you might be listening in many different places. Maybe you are at home, relaxing on the sofa or sitting at your desk. Maybe you are outside, walking in the park or walking along the street. Maybe you are at work or at school and you're taking a short break. No matter where you are, I truly thank you for spending your time with me. Your time is very valuable, and I hope this episode gives you something useful for your English and something meaningful for your life. Today, we are going to talk about a topic that many people experience almost every day. The topic is how to deal with difficult people. When you hear the words difficult people, maybe someone already comes into your mind. This person could be a coworker at your job who is hard to work with. It could be a classmate at school who causes problems. It could even be a friend or a family member. Difficult people can be very different. Some people complain all the time. Some people speak in a rude or unkind way. Some people make you feel angry or upset. Others may confuse you or make you feel tired, as if they take away all your energy. Almost everyone has at least one difficult person in their life. You are not alone. Dealing with these people is not easy, especially when we want to stay calm, patient, and kind. Many times, we feel angry or frustrated. Sometimes, we want to avoid them or run away from the situation. Learning how to deal with difficult people is a very important life skill. This is because in life, we meet many kinds of people. Some people are friendly and kind. Some people are quiet. And yes, some people are difficult. We cannot always avoid them. We may need to work with them, study with them, or sometimes even live with them. So instead of always getting angry or trying to escape, it is better to learn how to handle these situations in a healthy and peaceful way. In this episode, we will learn how to stay strong, speak clearly, and keep our inner peace, even when other people try to take that peace away from us. This topic is not only about other people and their behavior. It is also about us. It is about how we protect ourselves, how we take care of our feelings, and how we stay calm on the inside, even in difficult situations. Today, I will help you understand who difficult people are and why they act the way they do. We will also talk about how these people affect our emotions and our thoughts. Most importantly, I will share some simple and smart ways to deal with difficult people without losing your temper or feeling out of control. These methods are easy to understand and easy to use in real life. You will learn some very simple tips and some helpful sentences that you can use in real conversations. These sentences can help you feel more confident when you speak. I will also share one short real-life story that will help you understand everything more clearly. Stories make learning easier and more interesting, and they help us remember ideas better. I will speak slowly and clearly during this episode. This way, you can practice listening to English and also practice speaking. This podcast is made especially for English learners who want to improve their English in a real and meaningful way, not just from books, but from real-life topics. So please relax, listen carefully, and if you want, you can repeat some sentences out loud with me. Speaking out loud is a great way to improve your English. If you enjoy this episode, please remember to like, follow, and share English Journey Conversation with your friends or classmates. This really helps me continue making useful and helpful content for you. Your support means a lot to me. Now, are you ready? Are you ready to learn how to deal with difficult people and feel more confident in your daily life?
Great.
Let's begin. First, let's understand what we really mean when we say difficult people. This is a common phrase in English, and you have probably heard it many times before. But what does it truly mean? A difficult person is someone who is hard to talk to, hard to work with, or hard to get along with. When you are around them, you may feel stressed, tired, angry, or uncomfortable. Sometimes, after you finish talking to them, you feel upset or unhappy, and sometimes you do not even know exactly why you feel that way. These feelings are very common when dealing with difficult people, and many people experience this in their daily lives. Sometimes, after talking to certain people, you feel upset, tired, or uncomfortable, even if you're not sure exactly why. This feeling is very common. However, it is important to remember one thing. Not everyone who disagrees with you is a difficult person. People can have different ideas, opinions, and thoughts, and that is a normal part of life. Disagreement does not always mean conflict. A difficult person is someone who often creates problems or negative feelings for others. They usually make situations harder instead of better. They may not listen when other people speak. They may talk in a rude, angry, or disrespectful way. Often, they always want to be right and they do not care about how other people feel. When we talk about difficult people, this is what we mean. Difficult people can be very different from each other. Some are loud and openly mean. Others are quiet, but their behavior still makes the situation uncomfortable or stressful. Let me give you a few clear and simple examples to help you understand better. The first example is the complainer. Imagine you have a coworker who complains every single day. No matter what happens, this person always finds something negative to say. If the weather is sunny and warm, they say it is too hot. If it rains, they say the whole day is ruined. If you finish your work quickly, instead of saying good job, they say it is not perfect. This person is difficult because they bring negative energy into the room. Their words and attitude can make other people feel tired, unhappy, or discouraged, even if nothing is really wrong. The second example is the rude classmate. Think about a classmate who is rude when speaking to others. They interrupt people while they are talking. They laugh when someone makes a mistake. They do not say please or thank you. They speak in a loud, harsh voice. When you talk to this person, you may feel nervous, uncomfortable, or stressed. This is another type of difficult person because their behavior makes communication unpleasant. The third example is the controlling person. You may know someone like this in your life. This person always wants to be in control. They do not listen to your ideas or opinions. They want to make all the decisions by themselves. They act like they're the boss, even when they are not. When something goes wrong, they blame other people. When something goes right, they take all the credit. This kind of person makes group work very difficult and can make others feel unimportant or frustrated. All of these people are called difficult people because their behavior creates stress, negative feelings, and uncomfortable situations for others. Understanding these different types is the first step to learning how to deal with them in a calm and smart way. When difficult people are in a group, they can make work and conversations very stressful and unpleasant. Let's look at more examples to understand this better. The fourth example is the time disrespecter. This type of person does not respect your time or your personal space. They may always arrive late to meetings or plans. They keep talking even when you clearly want to leave. They call you too often or send too many messages. They may ask very personal questions when you do not want to answer. Even if they do not mean to be rude, their behavior still feels difficult and uncomfortable. It can make you feel like your time is not important to them. The fifth example is the negative or dramatic person. These people are always negative or overly emotional. If you share good news with them, they do not celebrate with you. Instead, they say things like, "Don't be too happy. Something bad will happen soon." If a small problem happens, they react like it is a huge disaster. Being around this type of person feels heavy, stressful, and tiring. After spending time with them, you may feel drained or sad. Now, what do all these people have in common? As you can see, difficult people come in many different forms. Some are loud and angry. Some are quiet but cold. Some are pushy and controlling. Some always act like the victim. But they all share one main thing. They make communication harder. They make relationships more stressful. They do not make you feel safe, respected, or heard. This is the most important idea to understand. However, there is something very important to remember. Being a difficult person does not always mean someone is a bad person. Sometimes people act difficult because they are going through a hard time. They may feel stressed, tired, or confused. They may be dealing with problems at home, work, or school. Sometimes, nobody ever taught them how to communicate in a kind and respectful way. We do not always know their story or what is happening in their life. Even if we try to understand them, it does not mean we have to accept bad behavior. We can still be kind, but we also need to protect ourselves. We can learn to deal with difficult people in smart and peaceful ways. We do not need to become angry or lose control. We can stay calm and still set boundaries. So, when we talk about difficult people in this podcast, we are not saying these people are evil or terrible. We are saying that their behavior is hard to deal with and makes life more stressful. And we are learning how to handle these situations better. Sometimes people are different from us, and that is okay. Having different ideas, opinions, or habits is normal. That is part of life. But when we say difficult people, we mean those who often make things harder for others. They do this through their actions, words, or attitude. They may not listen, or they may speak in a rude way. They may always create problems or make people feel bad. The truth is that most of us, at some point in life, will have to deal with someone like this. That is why it is so important to learn how to respond, not with anger, but with calm, strength, and smart communication. Now, let's move to the next important question. Why are people difficult? In the first part of this episode, we talked about what difficult people are and how they behave. Now, we need to understand what is happening inside them. Why do they complain, argue, or speak rudely? Why do they act in ways that hurt others? Understanding this is very helpful. When we understand the reason behind their behavior, we do not feel as angry or confused. We can deal with them in a smarter and calmer way. And remember, people are not born difficult. There is always a reason behind their behavior. That reason does not make their actions okay, but it helps us see the bigger picture. Reason 1, stress. One of the most common reasons people act difficult is stress. Many people are under a lot of pressure in their daily lives. They may have problems at work or school. They may have conflicts in their family. They may be worried about money. They may not be sleeping well. Or they may have health problems. When people feel stressed, they often become angry, impatient, or short-tempered. They may not smile much. They may talk in a harsh or loud voice. Sometimes they start arguments over small, unimportant things. So when someone acts in a difficult way, sometimes it is not about you at all. It is about something stressful happening in their own life. Reason 2, personal problems from the past. Another reason people act difficult is because of problems they had in the past. Some people had hard childhoods. Some people experienced bullying or hurtful relationships. Others had negative experiences that made them feel scared, angry, or unsafe. These past problems can stay in their mind for a long time. Sometimes, they do not know how to handle their emotions. As a result, they act in a difficult way toward others. So when we see someone being rude or aggressive, it may be because they are still carrying old pain or fear inside them. Understanding this can help us stay calm and not take their behavior personally. It does not excuse their actions, but it helps us respond with wisdom instead of anger. Some people act difficult because they have past pain or problems that they still carry inside them. These experiences can come from childhood or from events in their life. For example, maybe they grew up in a home where people shouted all the time. Maybe someone hurt them before, so now they do not trust others easily. Maybe they feel sad, lonely, or afraid most of the time. Instead of asking for help or talking about their feelings, these people may push others away. They may act cold, unfriendly, or even mean. This is often their way of protecting themselves. They may think that if they stay strong and distant, nobody can hurt them again. But this is not a healthy way to handle pain. It is a way to hide their feelings and avoid being hurt. Reason 3. Insecurity. Another reason people act difficult is because they feel insecure. Insecure people do not feel good about themselves. They may feel they are not smart enough, strong enough, or successful enough, even if they never say it out loud. Because they feel weak inside, they try to hide it. So what do? They try to make other people feel small. They interrupt when others are speaking. They laugh at other people's mistakes. They try to control everything. From the outside, it may look like they are confident and powerful, but in reality, they feel the opposite. They feel weak inside, and they act strong to cover it up. Reason 4. Poor communication skills. Another reason people act difficult is because they have poor communication skills. Some people never learned how to speak in a kind and respectful way. Maybe in their family, people shouted instead of listening to each other. Maybe nobody taught them how to express their feelings in a healthy way. So what happens? They get angry quickly. They use the wrong words without thinking. They don't know how to listen to others. These people may not want to hurt others, but their way of speaking creates problems. It does not mean they are bad people, but it does make conversations harder and more stressful. Reason 5. Unhappiness or emptiness. Sometimes people are difficult because they feel unhappy or empty inside. They may feel jealous when others are doing well. They may feel ignored, like nobody listens to them. They may feel like their life has no meaning or purpose. When people feel this way, they may complain all the time. They may try to make others feel bad, so they can feel more important or in control. Their negative behavior is a sign that something is missing in their life. Understanding these reasons is helpful. It does not excuse their behavior, but it helps us stay calm. It helps us respond with kindness and strength instead of anger. Some people act difficult because they want attention, but they do not know a healthy way to get it. They may act negative or dramatic to make others notice them. This behavior usually comes from inside, not from anything you did. Now, here is a very important reminder. When someone acts in a difficult way, it is not always personal. This means they are not rude because of you. They are not angry because of you. Usually, they are angry or rude because of something inside themselves. They may be stressed, unhappy, insecure, or hurt from the past. But what do we usually think when someone is mean to us? We think, did I say something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Why are they treating me this way? This feeling is normal. But most of the time, it is not about you. The truth is that difficult people are everywhere. No matter where you live, where you work, or where you study, you will meet someone who is hard to talk to. And here is another truth. You cannot change them. You cannot make them different. You cannot force them to act kindly. But you can learn how to respond in a better way. That is what we will practice in the next part of this episode. How difficult people affect us. Now that we understand why people are difficult, let's talk about something just as important. How difficult people affect us. When someone is rude, negative, or controlling, it does not only make the situation hard. It also affects our feelings, our energy, and sometimes even our whole day. Think about this. Have you ever talked to someone and then felt upset afterward? Maybe they did not really listen to you. Maybe they got angry for no reason. Maybe they said something that made you feel small or unimportant. After that conversation, you could not stop thinking about it. You felt angry, sad, or maybe just very tired. Yes, that is the power of difficult people. They do not just speak. Their words and actions go inside us. We do not only hear them with our ears. We feel them in our hearts and minds. Their words can stay with us for hours or even days. This is why dealing with difficult people is so important. It is not only about the moment. It is about how we feel afterward. Now, let's look at some of the most common feelings we experience when we deal with difficult people. 1. Anger. When someone speaks in a rude way or does not respect us, it is normal to feel angry. Your heart may start beating faster. Your face may feel hot. You may want to shout back or walk away quickly. You want to respond, but you are not sure if you will say the right thing. Even after the conversation is over, the anger may stay inside you. You keep thinking about what happened. You think about what you wanted to say, but did not. This can make you upset for hours or even for the whole day. 2. Frustration. Another very common feeling is frustration. Frustration happens when you try hard, but the other person just does not listen. It can also happen when you do your best, but the person still complains. It feels like nothing you do is good enough. You may feel stuck, like there is no way to fix the problem. You may want to give up. This feeling can take away your motivation and confidence. You may start doubting yourself. 3. Tiredness. Many people also feel tired after spending time with someone difficult. Not just physically tired, but emotionally tired. Some people take a lot of your energy. After a short conversation, you may feel like you need to rest. You feel heavy inside. This is not because you worked hard or moved around a lot. It is because during the conversation, you had to protect your feelings the whole time. This emotional tiredness can affect your sleep, your mood, and your peace of mind. 4. Sadness or hurt. Some difficult people make us feel sad or hurt. Maybe they ignore us. Maybe they say unkind or unfair things. Maybe they make us feel like we are not good enough. Even if we know deep down that it is not true, their words can still hurt. When we feel hurt, we sometimes stop talking. We close ourselves. We feel small, quiet, and alone. This feeling can be especially painful if the difficult person is someone close to us, like a family member or a friend. 5. Self-doubt. Another common feeling is self-doubt. After dealing with difficult people, you may start to question yourself. You may think, am I the problem? Did I do something wrong? Am I not good enough? These thoughts can make you feel less confident. Self-doubt can also make you feel anxious or nervous in future conversations. Difficult people affect us in many ways. They do not only change the moment, they change our emotions, our energy, and sometimes even our day. That is why it is important to learn how to handle these situations in a calm and smart way. Another result of dealing with difficult people is self-doubt. After talking with a difficult person, you may start asking yourself questions like, did I do something wrong? Am I the problem here? This kind of thinking makes you feel confused and unsure about yourself. It is easy to blame yourself, even when the other person is clearly being unfair. So, why does this matter? As you can see, difficult people do not just affect the conversation. They affect our emotions, our confidence, and even our health. When we spend time with someone difficult, we can feel stressed, tired, or sad. That is why it is so important to protect our own peace. If we do not protect ourselves, difficult people can steal our energy, our joy, and our focus. They can take away our good mood and make us feel bad for no reason. Now, let's move to the most important part: how to deal with difficult people. Now that we understand what difficult people are, why they behave the way they do, and how they affect us, it is time to learn how to respond in a smart and peaceful way. You do not need to fight. You do not need to change who you are. You just need to learn some simple strategies that will help you stay calm, protect your energy, and respond with confidence. These tips are not only useful for difficult situations, they can also help you feel more peaceful and confident in your everyday life. Tip 1. Stay calm. When someone is rude or says something unkind, your first feeling may be to react quickly. You might want to shout, argue, or walk away fast. But here's the truth. Reacting too fast usually makes the situation worse. Instead, try this. Take a deep breath. Pause before answering. Count to 5 in your head. If you need to, tell yourself, I am calm. I don't need to fight. This small action gives your brain a moment to clear. It stops you from saying something you might regret later. When you stay calm, you're the one in control, not the difficult person. You are not letting their words control your emotions. You are choosing peace. Tip 2. Listen carefully. Sometimes difficult people behave badly because they feel unheard. They may want someone to listen to them, even if they speak in a harsh or angry way. If you listen carefully, you may understand their feelings and why they are upset. Listening does not mean you agree with them. It just means you are showing respect. When people feel heard, they often calm down. Listening can reduce conflict and make the situation easier to handle. Sometimes difficult people act negative because they feel a certain way inside. They may not know how to express their feelings in a healthy way. So instead of interrupting them or getting angry, try listening first. You can say short and calm sentences like, I understand. I hear what you're saying. This does not mean you agree with them. It simply shows that you are willing to listen to their side. Often, when people feel heard, they become less angry and more open to a calm conversation. Listening can help them calm down and make the situation easier. Tip 3. Use kind but clear words. Being kind does not mean being weak. You can be polite and still express how you feel. Use calm and simple language. For example, you can say, I don't feel comfortable when you speak to me like that. Let's talk about this later when we are both calm. Notice that there is no shouting or rude words. You are speaking clearly and respectfully. Soft and respectful words often work better than angry words. Sometimes, people are even surprised when you stay polite and respectful while they are not. That surprise can change the whole mood of the conversation. Tip 4. Set boundaries. Setting boundaries means protecting your space, your time, and your peace. You do not have to say yes to everything. You do not have to accept behavior that makes you uncomfortable. For example, if someone always asks for your help but never thanks you, it is okay to say, I'm sorry, but I can't help today. If someone always calls you late at night when you are trying to rest, you can say, please call me earlier next time. Remember, setting boundaries is not rude. It is healthy. It teaches people what is okay and what is not okay for you. When you set boundaries, you are protecting your peace and your mental health. Tip 5. Don't take it personally. This is a tip many people forget. Difficult people are often unhappy, stressed, or angry for reasons that have nothing to do with you. But their words can still hurt, especially if you are kind or sensitive. That is why you must remind yourself, this is not about me. This is about them. Maybe they are having a bad day. Maybe they do not know how to communicate. Maybe they are feeling scared or lonely. Their behavior is not your fault. When you remember this, it becomes easier to stay calm and not let their words control your feelings. Maybe the person does not know how to express their feelings in a healthy way. Maybe they are carrying problems you cannot see. Whatever the reason, do not let their mood become your mood. You can listen to them, but you do not have to carry their pain or stress. Your peace is important. Tip 6. Try to understand. Sometimes trying to understand the other person can help. You can ask a simple question like, "Why are you upset?" This shows that you care and that you want to listen. When you ask, you might discover that the person is sad, stressed, or angry for a reason you did not know before. This is called empathy. Empathy means you try to feel a little of what they feel without letting it hurt you. You understand their feelings, but you do not let their emotions control you. But remember, empathy does not mean accepting bad behavior. If someone is being very rude or aggressive, you do not have to continue the conversation. Your safety comes first. Tip 7. Use I statements. The way we speak makes a big difference. Instead of blaming the other person with words like, "You always make me angry," try using an I statement such as, "I feel upset when you speak loudly." This small change can make a big difference. When you use I statements, the other person hears your feelings. They do not feel blamed or attacked. The conversation stays calmer and more respectful. So practice saying, "I feel" instead of "you always." It is a small change in words, but it can change how people listen. Tip 8. Walk away if needed. Yes, sometimes the best answer is to say nothing and simply leave. Not every argument needs your reply. Not every rude comment deserves your attention. If someone is yelling or making you feel unsafe, you have the right to leave. You can calmly say, "I don't want to continue this conversation right now," and then walk away. This is not weakness. It is strength. It shows that you respect yourself enough not to stay in a toxic situation. Now, let's quickly review all 8 tips. These tips are simple but powerful. Stay calm. Listen carefully. Use kind but clear words. Set boundaries. Don't take it personally. Try to understand. Use I statements. Walk away if needed. These tips can help you stay calm, protect your energy, and communicate better. They're not only useful for difficult people, but also for everyday life. When you practice these strategies, you will feel more confident and peaceful. Let's quickly repeat the tips again in a simple way. Take a deep breath before you speak. Listen carefully. Sometimes people just want to feel heard. Use kind but clear words. Speak honestly but gently. Set boundaries. Protect your time, energy, and peace. Don't take it personally. Their behavior is about them, not you. Try to understand. Ask why. Show empathy safely. Use I statements. Express your feelings without blaming. Walk away if needed. It is okay to leave the conversation. These tips are very useful, but sometimes we also need actual words we can use in real life. In a difficult moment, it can be hard to know what to say. Your mind feels stressed, your heart beats faster, and sometimes the right words do not come. That is why it is helpful to learn and practice some simple, polite, and powerful English sentences. These sentences will help you speak clearly, protect your peace, and keep the conversation respectful. Remember, these sentences are not magic. They will not suddenly change the other person, but they will help you feel calmer, stronger, and more in control. The best part is that they are short, easy to remember, and easy to use. Let's practice together. Sentence 1. I understand how you feel. This is a kind and respectful way to show the other person that you are listening. Many difficult people behave badly because they feel unheard. When you say this sentence, you do not have to agree with them. You are simply showing that you are listening. For example, if your boss is stressed and shouting, you can calmly say, "I understand how you feel." If a friend is upset and speaking in a rude tone, you can say, "I understand how you feel." This simple sentence can calm people down and reduce tension. Let's practice it together. Say it slowly. I understand how you feel. One more time. I understand how you feel. Good. Practice it until it feels natural. Sentence 2. We'll continue with the next sentence in the next part. Sometimes, when someone is very angry or emotional, it is not a good idea to continue the conversation. In those moments, it is better to pause and talk later when both people are calmer. A good sentence to use in this situation is, "Can we talk about this later?" This sentence is polite and respectful. It shows that you are not trying to run away or ignore the person. You are simply asking to wait until the situation is calmer. This helps prevent the conversation from becoming worse. For example, imagine a classmate is very upset about a project and keeps complaining loudly. You can say, "Can we talk about this later?" This shows that you understand they are upset, but you want to wait until you both feel calmer. Or imagine a family member becomes upset during dinner and starts speaking in a harsh tone. You can say, "Can we talk about this later?" This helps keep the atmosphere peaceful and avoids a bigger argument. It also shows respect and maturity. Let's practice this sentence together. Repeat after me. "Can we talk about this later?" One more time. "Can we talk about this later?" This sentence is short, polite, and powerful. It gives you control without being rude. Let's say these sentences together. I understand how you feel. Can we talk about this later? I don't feel comfortable with this. Let's stay calm and talk nicely. These sentences are short and easy to remember, but they are also strong. They can help you in many real-life situations. You don't need many words to protect yourself. Just a few calm, respectful, and confident sentences can make a big difference. You're doing great so far. Keep practicing. The more you repeat these tips and sentences, the easier they will become. You can practice at home, in front of a mirror, or by writing them down in a notebook. That way, when you really need them in a difficult situation, the words will come naturally. Now, let's move on to another important part of our lesson, the types of difficult people. Not all difficult people behave in the same way. Some people complain a lot. Some people get angry quickly. Some stay quiet and do not talk. Others act like they know everything. If you can recognize these types, you will know how to respond to them better. Let me share with you 4 common types of difficult people you may meet in daily life. 1. The complainer. A complainer is a person who always focuses on the negative side of things. They can find a problem in almost everything. For example, at work they may say, "This task is too hard." At home, they may say, "Nothing ever goes right." Even with small things like the weather, traffic, or food, they always complain. Complaining too much can make other people feel tired or sad. It can also create a negative atmosphere because it feels like there is no solution. How to deal with them? Stay calm and listen politely, but don't agree with every complaint. You can try to change the subject to something positive. You can also suggest solutions gently. For example, you can say, "I see your point. Maybe we can try this instead." 2. The angry person. An angry person is someone who gets upset quickly and often speaks loudly. They may blame others, shout, or use rude words. Their anger can make you feel scared or stressed. They may not listen to you because they are focused on their emotions. How to deal with them? Try to stay calm and keep your voice low. Do not argue with them or respond with anger. If the person is very angry, it may be best to step back and give them space. You can say, "I can talk to you when you feel calmer." 3. The silent person. A silent person is someone who does not speak much. They may ignore you or refuse to answer. This can be frustrating because you don't know what they are thinking. Silence can feel like a type of control. How to deal with them? Stay patient and give them time. Ask simple questions and encourage them to speak. You can say, "I would like to hear your thoughts. Please tell me what you think." If they still stay silent, do not push too hard. Sometimes giving them space is the best choice. For the know-it-all. A know-it-all is someone who acts like they know everything. They may interrupt you, correct you, or argue even when they are wrong. They want to feel superior and control the conversation. How to deal with them? Stay confident and calm. You can say, "I respect your opinion, but I see it differently." Do not try to win the argument. Instead, focus on your goal and keep the conversation respectful. These are the 4 common types of difficult people. When you recognize them, you can respond in the best way. Remember, you can protect yourself with calm words and respectful behavior. You don't need to be loud or angry. You just need to stay confident and stay calm. Some people show their emotions very strongly. They may raise their voice, use harsh words, or get upset very quickly. This type of person is called the angry person. For example, a friend who yells when things do not go their way, or a family member who loses patience easily and becomes angry over small issues. Being around angry people can feel uncomfortable or even scary. Their anger can make you feel tense, nervous, or worried. So, how should you deal with an angry person? The best way is to stay calm and not shout back. Do not respond with anger because that can make the situation worse. Instead, speak slowly and softly. Use calming phrases such as, "Let's stay calm and talk nicely." If the person is too angry, it is okay to give them space. Step back and wait until they cool down. Sometimes, they just need time to calm their emotions before they can talk normally. Remember, you cannot control someone else's anger, but you can control your own reaction. The silent type does not talk much or share their feelings. The know-it-all always wants to be right. When you can recognize these types of difficult people, you will know which strategies and sentences to use. It is like having a map. When you know where you are, you know which road to take. This simple exercise tells your brain, "It's okay. I am safe. I can handle this." 2. Pause before you respond. When someone says something rude, your first reaction might be to shout or argue. But if you pause for even just a few seconds, you give yourself time to think. Ask yourself, what is the best thing to say right now? This short pause can stop a small problem from becoming a big fight. It gives you a chance to choose a calm response instead of reacting with anger. 3. Think positive thoughts. Your mind is very powerful. If you think negative thoughts, you will feel more upset. But if you think positive thoughts, you will feel stronger. You can remind yourself, "I can handle this. This will pass. I choose peace." These simple thoughts can change your feelings from angry or scared to calm and confident. When you think positively, you stay in control and you feel more peaceful. Common mistakes that make problems worse. When people argue, the situation usually becomes worse instead of better. Let's look at some common mistakes that many people make and why these mistakes do not help. 1. Don't shout back. When someone raises their voice, it feels natural to do the same. But shouting does not solve the problem. It only makes both people more angry. For example, imagine this short conversation. Person A, "This is your fault." Person B, "No, it's your fault." Person A, "No, you did it." As they shout louder, the anger grows. Nobody listens, and the problem stays unsolved. So, instead of shouting back, try lowering your voice. Speak calmly and softly. This can help reduce tension and stop the argument from getting worse. 2. Don't use hurtful words. When people are angry, they sometimes say things like, "You're stupid," or "You always make mistakes." These words may feel powerful at the moment, but they usually hurt the other person. When someone feels attacked, they become defensive and harder to talk to. Instead of blaming the other person, use calm and respectful phrases like, "I feel upset when this happens. Can we find a solution? Let's try to solve this together." This way, you show respect and open the door for a real conversation. 3. Don't ignore the person completely. Walking away or staying quiet can be helpful sometimes, especially if you need time to calm down. But ignoring someone all the time makes them feel disrespected. It may feel like you don't care, or you are not listening. If you need space, it is better to say something like, "Can we talk about this later?" This shows that you still respect them, but you need time to calm down. It keeps the relationship healthy while protecting your peace. 4. Don't take everything personally. Many times, when someone is difficult, it is not really about you. They may be stressed, tired, or upset about something else. If you take every word personally, you will feel hurt and angry quickly. Try reminding yourself, this is not about me. They're having a hard time. This helps you stay calm and not let their mood control yours. It also makes it easier to respond kindly. 5. Don't try to win the fight. Some people argue because they want to win. But conversations are not competitions. The goal is not to prove who is right. The goal is to understand each other and solve the problem together. If you try to win, the other person will feel attacked and will fight back. Instead, focus on solving the issue calmly and respectfully. How to handle arguments without making them worse. When you argue with someone, it can feel like you need to win. But trying to win usually makes things worse. The other person may feel they have to fight harder, and the argument becomes louder and more stressful. Instead of trying to win, focus on finding peace or a solution. Winning is not as important as keeping your calm and protecting your peace. When you stay calm, you can think clearly and solve the problem better. Quick review of common mistakes. Here are the mistakes to avoid when dealing with difficult people. Don't shout back. Don't use hurtful words. Don't ignore the person completely. Don't take everything personally. Don't try to win. Avoiding these mistakes will help you stay in control and make the situation easier to handle. Calmness is strength. Sarah's story. You don't have to fight back to be strong. Calmness is real strength. Let me tell you a simple but powerful true story about a woman named Sarah. Sarah was kind and friendly. She worked in an office where most people were nice and respectful. She enjoyed her job and liked helping others. But there was one person who made her life difficult. His name was James. James was not easy to work with. He often spoke in a rude tone. He complained almost every day. He never said hello in the morning. He made negative comments about other people's work. And sometimes, during meetings, he interrupted Sarah and made her feel small in front of others. At first, Sarah didn't know how to handle him. After meetings with James, she often felt tired, sad, and frustrated. She began to doubt herself. She asked herself, did I do something wrong? Why does James always treat me like this? She wanted to tell him how she felt, but she was afraid it would start a fight. She didn't want to create more problems. So she decided to try a better way. Instead of reacting quickly, Sarah paused. She didn't speak right away. She took a slow breath. Then, in a soft and respectful voice, she said, I understand how you feel, but I don't feel comfortable when you speak to me like this. She spoke with kindness. She didn't shout. She didn't insult him. She didn't attack him. She was calm, clear, and respectful. James was surprised. No one had ever spoken to him like that before. He didn't know what to say. He stopped being rude in that moment. A few days later, in another meeting, James started complaining again. This time, Sarah stayed calm. She didn't argue. She simply said, can we talk about this later? Then she continued her work. She didn't let his negative energy change her mood. Over time, something very interesting happened. How calmness can change people. Something interesting happened over time. James slowly began to change. He stopped interrupting Sarah as much. He still complained sometimes, but he was not as angry or aggressive as before. One morning, he even said, "Good morning," to Sarah, something he had never done before. Why did this happen? Maybe it happened because Sarah showed him a different way to communicate. She stayed calm. She used polite words. She didn't fight back. She created a peaceful environment, and that gave James an example of better behavior. But Sarah also set boundaries. She protected her time and energy. When she needed to focus, she closed her office door. Sometimes she wore headphones so she could work without distractions. And on days when James was in a very bad mood, she simply walked away. She didn't try to fix him. She didn't try to control him. She just protected her peace. What this story teaches us. This story teaches us something very important. You don't have to shout to be strong. You don't have to fight to be respected. When you stay calm, speak clearly, and use kind words, you protect yourself. You also create a chance for the other person to change. So, next time you meet someone who is difficult, remember Sarah's story. Remember the tips you learned. Take a deep breath. Stay calm. Say what you need to say politely. Protect your peace. Remind yourself, I am in control of my response. What you really need to handle difficult people. You don't have to win every argument. What you need is patience. What you need is calm thinking. What you need is the belief that you can handle the situation in a better way. At the beginning of this episode, we asked an important question. Why are people difficult? We learned that many times their behavior has nothing to do with us. They might be stressed. They might be tired. They might feel insecure or have personal problems. Sometimes people act badly simply because they never learned how to express their feelings in a healthy way. So when someone is rude or negative, it doesn't always mean they are trying to hurt you. Understanding this can help you stay calm. It helps you not take things personally. The most important lesson. Here is the most important thing I want you to remember. You cannot control other people, but you can control your response. This is where your true power is. You don't have to join someone else's storm. You can choose to stay in your peace. You can be the calm voice in the middle of the noise. Dealing with difficult people is not something you are born knowing how to do. It is a skill, and like any skill, it gets easier with practice. So please don't feel bad if it is hard at first. Be patient with yourself. Every time you stay calm, you grow stronger. Every time you speak kindly, you build confidence. Every time you choose not to take it personally, you protect your peace. Stay kind. Stay calm. Stay confident. You are not weak for being gentle. You are wise for choosing peace over anger. This practice can help you see something important. It shows how strong and calm you can be, even when other people are not. When you choose peace instead of anger, you are not letting the other person win. No, you are winning by protecting your own mind, your own heart, and your own mood. Even if the situation feels uncomfortable at first, remind yourself of this truth. You are not responsible for other people's behavior. You are only responsible for your own response. And that is where your power is. Practice makes you stronger. The more you practice, the more natural these words will feel when you face real situations. If you found today's episode helpful, please share it with someone you care about, like a friend, classmate, or family member. Maybe they are also dealing with difficult people. These tips could help them too. And remember, you can always listen to this episode again during the week. Every time you listen, you will understand something a little deeper. Every time you listen, you will feel a little stronger. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I truly appreciate your presence. I admire your willingness to grow, learn, and improve yourself. You are not alone in this journey. All around the world, many people are learning just like you, how to stay strong and kind even in hard moments. So take this challenge. Practice your phrases and believe in your ability to handle tough situations with calm and confidence. Keep learning. Keep practicing. Keep shining.